Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Mask. In today's instalment we're going to be discussing the events that happened following the conclusion of Halloween 2. More specifically, we're going to be assessing the original death of Laurie Strode. This was long before Resurrection, long before Halloween Ends. The events occur 1 year following Halloween night in 1978. The story of Laurie Strode has had several different conclusions, with some ending happy for the original final girl, others not so much. The events of this timeline we're discussing today are taken from a short-lived comic book that attempted to pick up the story following the climax of Halloween 2. This comic book was never completed, leaving fans unsure of exactly how Michael Myers killed Laurie Strode in this specific timeline. The creator of this comic, however, has recently spoken out and revealed exactly how this story was meant to conclude, also confirming that this story took place in the H2O timeline and that Laurie's ultimate fate was completely fabricated in the hopes of getting her to safety. So what did happen following the events of 1978? What made Laurie officially go into hiding, and how does this story actually end? Sit back and relax as I talk you guys through the shocking first death of Laurie Strode. The events of 1978 had a huge impact on Laurie Strode, including the shocking events of Halloween 2 in the mix of what she went through. It really highlights just how traumatised Laurie must have been. She was taken away from Haddonfield Memorial Hospital following Michael's alleged death at the hands of Dr. Sam Loomis and some very explosive interference. What viewers didn't see, however, is what occurred immediately after the final shot of the movie. The police and fire department attempted to seize control of the hospital as Laurie was taken away. Surprisingly though, as they arrived to remove Michael's body, he had gone. Severely injured, Michael disappeared, finding refuge somewhere quiet in Haddonfield to deal with his injuries. Dr. Sam Loomis was rescued and, despite receiving some extreme tissue damage following the explosion, managed to live on, believing always that Michael Myers would return. The story of Michael became legend in Haddonfield. People refused to discuss him and enjoyed the notion of living in denial. The same, however, could not be said for Laurie Strode. Dealing with her ordeal and the discovery that she was adopted by her parents and she was a member of the Myers family beforehand, Laurie hit rock bottom, believing every single day that Michael would come for her again. Several months following October 1978, Laurie still hadn't recovered. She took drugs and alcohol in the hopes of coping with her ordeal, constantly looking over her shoulder for the shape that stalked her nightmares. I was born Cynthia Myers. After my parents died in a car crash, I was adopted, and my name was changed. It was supposedly done to protect me. It didn't make a difference. He found me easily. Somehow, he drew me to him, into his trap. Just like everybody else. Months passed, and nothing feels any different. The ghosts are always there. Less than a year later, Michael Myers re-emerged from his hiding spot, back in Haddonfield, to find Laurie once again. Like before, he bided his time, stealing a similar mask from the same store he broke into in 1978. Michael set out to locate Laurie once again. Similar to the year before, Michael observed Laurie as she walked back home with her friend Sally. The pair went back to Laurie's house and smoked weed in the hopes of allowing Laurie to block out all of her trauma. Sally seemingly being the only person who understood Laurie, yet appeared to feed on her negative state. It was in Laurie's bedroom once again that her whole life came crashing down. In the same spot as last year, Michael looked up at Laurie from the washing line as he observed her. Laurie's startled reaction initiated a response from Sally. Upon inspection, however, they discovered Laurie's elderly neighbour, Mr. Riddle, dead in Laurie's garden. The incident caused a panic in Laurie. Michael was back. "He's going to come back for me, isn't he?" she said frantically to Dr. Loomis. "I wish I could say something to prove that wrong, but what is he? Why won't he die?" asked Laurie. "I don't know why he wants you. I doubt there is reason or motivation in the traditional sense of the word. Maybe he just wants to relive Judith's death again. Maybe because it's as good as any other motivation we can ascribe to him, and he's just playing wretched games with us," said Loomis. More time passed as Michael continued to stalk Laurie. Some she wasn't aware of, others, like her graduation, she was very aware he was there. The comic delves into Laurie's psychological state better than any other version of the character, in my opinion. She battles ongoing with constant self-doubt and worry over whether this is all in her head or whether Michael truly is back. It's apparent, however, she's quite firm over her belief that he is back. This is dark for the character. Her trauma stems from her past and really cements her as being one of the most complex yet relatable final girls to date. Laurie's self-doubt over Michael eventually comes to an abrupt end, as on Halloween night in 1979, the Shape makes his move once again, in what would be to Haddonfield, the night that he murdered Laurie Strode. Laurie attended a Halloween party with her friend Sally. The pair drank some and even did drugs together. Laurie seemingly threw herself into the party and was eventually taken for a breather out of the way as Sally left her alone. As Laurie rested, however, Michael arrived, dressed as an adult version of his child clown costume. He stalked for his prey before he found her, slowly approached her. There was no stalking this time. Michael was there to kill her. Laurie heard the shaky breathing above her as she came face to face with her tormentor once again. She fled for her life, with Michael taking slashes at her from afar. Just when she thought she'd escaped him, he emerged inside a car, attempting to mow her down. Laurie, fast on her feet, managed to swiftly outrun the car. She proceeded to hide before emerging once again to see the car parked up at a familiar home. Jimmy, Laurie's on-off boyfriend and survivor of the 1978 attacks. Laurie rushed to his home to find him dead. Michael had murdered Jimmy. He had obviously been stalking Laurie longer than she thought. She contacted Loomis with the hopes of getting some help. Loomis attempted to search for Michael once again, but was met by the people of Haddonfield, who were somewhat aggressive and unwelcoming to Dr. Loomis. Seeing the devastation that Laurie has caused and how more people have suffered due to her ongoing cat and mouse chase with Michael, Laurie sets up an elaborate plan with Dr. Loomis and Marion Chambers. Using the same witness protection scheme that was put in place when Mr. and Mrs. Myers died, Laurie attempted to face off Michael one final time and proceeded to lure him into her parents' home. Michael would eventually catch up with Laurie, wanting to end his sister for good. He would sneak inside the home very quietly, with the intentions of killing her. Laurie would emerge, and the pair would struggle, fight. Both would put up a huge amount of strength to beat the other. Laurie would, however, lose the war, as Michael killed her once and for all. Left in a pool of her own blood, Michael would revel in his kill. With the arrival of Loomis at the home, however, Michael would disappear once again, feeling accomplished and finally at peace. For now. Laurie was taken by Dr. Loomis to the hospital where, due to blood loss, she was officially pronounced dead to her family and friends. The death of Laurie hit the town hard, specifically the likes of Tommy Doyle, who Laurie babysat in 1978. The reality of this, however, was that Laurie had gone into hiding, under a new identity. The rest of the story obviously continues in Halloween H2O, which serves as a climax to the Michael Myers and Laurie Strode sibling storyline. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, he's waited for this moment. He's waited for me.